Juice today, Coach? Or?
Yeah, we're in the season mode now. I know it's hard for everyone to transition back to no juice, but we'll give the juice awards out after the game. So that's what we're transitioning to now.
Wanted to ask you talked about him on Saturday, but Michael Hughes, a little bit of Quinn Roth in there maybe?
I think so. I'm just excited about his early progression and what he's done through the first couple weeks. I know the best thing you do as a young guy is get noticed on tape and through effort and energy, and I think Michael has that, and I'm proud of what he can do developmental-wise, and we'll always find those guys. I mean, Dean was a walk-on, Armani Marsh was a walk-on, Billy was a walk-on. I mean, we've had a good history of putting guys on scholarship, and just excited about, him being another great walk-on and working towards something.
You said Billy was a walk-on?
Yeah, Billy came here as a walk-on.
Is he on scholarship now?
Billy is on scholarship now, absolutely.
When did that happen?
Well, he was on a 1 year last year, and then we kept him permanently on it this year. So I think he's earned it. He's been a staple of our team, both on the field and off the field, and excited about those things.
You mentioned Armani Marsh. I don't know if you saw 6 tackles this weekend. Dayon had 9.5 sacks. Just proud father moment seeing those guys do it on the big stage.
For father moment would be a little strong, but really proud of those guys. I think their future is bright. Armani's always had the intangible pieces, and he always works his tail off. And I tell our guys, at the next level, they're looking for the same things we are, and that's to be accountable. It's to do your job. It's to be a professional in everything you do, and he has that in spades, and I think Dayon has a bright future.
RJ, I assume, just taking it easy with him?
Yeah, he's getting old, just some maintenance stuff. RJ will be back in pads on Wednesday. He'll be ready to go, just a little bit of a shoulder thing, and just precautionary right now, and we get into our CSU prep on Wednesday.
And just real quick, anything you want Ahmad, Nakia, or Lawrence?
Lawrence will be out for the remainder of the season. He did tear his ACL. It was one of those freak deals. Ahmad should be back Wednesday. Nakia should be full speed Wednesday. We get Lily back out Wednesday. So we'll get these guys rolling as we get to this 10-day game prep.
And looks like Rashad's progressing pretty well, too. Saw him out doing some drills.
Yeah, it's good. Really good to see Rashad. I was just like, who is that big dude walking back out here? And it was just good for him to get back into Indy. He'll be a slow progression as we go throughout, but hopefully he'll give us a really shot in the dark somewhere in mid-season and have an ability to play.
And I know, obviously, you moved past the scrimmage that happened. Just when you watch the tape, though, was there one thing that really stood out that maybe you didn't see when you first saw it live?
Well, I thought Cam was good in person, but I thought he was really good on the tape. Just his accuracy, the way he's navigating the pocket is way better than he ever did last year. I think last year he left some plays out there because he just bailed on it and went to do what Cam does. I think he's standing in there. He's trusting a little bit better. Defensively, I thought our one unit, was pretty good. They did some good things, and we did a better job stopping the run than I probably thought. So it's just one of those things where it's just like the spring game to me. You want to kind of get a bulk of reps, but you don't want to get too banged up. So I thought we did that on Saturday.
When did you see Cam make the steps that you talked about? He's different, but when did you see the process, or is it just one of those things that just he keeps getting better every day that he's been here?
Well, I think it really started this spring. I think through the first half of spring, he was uncomfortable. And new techniques, new way of carrying the ball, new way of throwing and dropping. And you could see that. And there was some frustration. Then right about that second scrimmage of spring, it was like, okay, now he's starting to get it. He really finished and accelerated strong out of spring in the spring game. And I think he came back just working at it this summer. It feels really natural to him now. And I think he started to touch slow in fall camp with the same thing. I like that he's accelerating and ramping up as we're getting into game day. But those first 7 practices of spring were awkward, and told him just keep pushing through and you'll see the results. And I think that's what he's getting now.
You've been around a lot of quarterbacks. What does a scrimmage like that do for a guy's confidence, even a guy at his ability?
I think it's huge. I think it just shows the investment's worth it. I don't care what level of your journey you're at. When you put in the time, you want to see the fruits of the labor. And I think he's getting that. And I think he's seeing the fruits of the labor of his whole group. And I think that's an important piece, too, to understand he doesn't have to do it all. We got a lot of guys around him that can go out there and make plays. And there's a conviction that has to be forged. And I think he's really getting that. And I think that's going to be important for our offense because there's going to be some hard times. Right? When those hard times, you guys got to rely on our rules and principles and each other. And I think it starts with Cam.
How does school starting change your day? Does it?
Yeah, it changes everybody's day. Typically, that is always everyone's worst practice of the year, the first day of school, right? So to get on routine, I think, is the biggest thing, and that's the same thing for coaches. So our players, hey, this is my class schedule. This is when I have breaks. This is when I'm going to study film. This is when I'm at tutors. This is meetings. And really, I think humans are creatures of habit. So the better we can build that routine, same thing for coaches. I'm back on that, hey, we knock this out now. Here it comes. Now we have afternoon meetings. And then, really the recruiting piece of it really starts to ramp up at night too. So it's just getting out of fall camp mode where you are football 24/7 and then see a little bit broader spectrum now that school starts.
One last question for you. There's no game this week, but fall camp is over.
Yeah.
The first game is always different unique because you're starting to put stuff in. How much do you spend on Colorado State this week before game week next week?
Yeah, even today we had kind of a Wisconsin game cleanup. We always do 2 practices on our second opponent. And then Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon will be our CSU walkthrough. And then Wednesday will be like a Tuesday of game week. And then Thursday will be like a Wednesday of game week. And then Saturday, we do what we call a mock game. We go through the whole pregame. We have offense, defense on the same side. We have scout teams that are on the other side like they're the opponent, working the transitions from offense to punt and kickoff to defense, and just making sure we're checking every box to make sure everything's oiled up and ready to go. So that's what this week is about. And then next week, to be honest, you're getting a second run through. You're getting a second week of CSU, but also taking the volumes down and keeping the speeds high so our guys are flying on Saturday. So, right now they're a little worn out. That's where they should be, and we'll get them flying by the time Saturday comes.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I'm curious, how
you got lost, huh?
I'm curious.
Or you're just waking up. That's
no, I've been awake for a little bit.
Up.
I've been awake for a little bit.
All right.
That's Jamie right here.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how closely you can simulate. You mentioned you do a mock game leading up to the first game. How closely can you get to really simulating what that game day is going to be like ahead of time?
Well, I think the intensity you never can. I think true scrimmages really replicate that. But the action of it, the eating the pregame meal 4 hours before. Friday night, we're going through our whole routine in this building just like we would at the hotel. So just to make sure everything's not new. We'll have a lot of guys that are new travelers or new to that environment that we want to make sure the first time they're doing those things is not on CSU Truly Go Week. So just kind of knock those out. And it's a little bit routine for the old guys, but just remembering what some of those feelings and just maybe staying locked in and focused in the moment.
You have been to Fort Collins before?
Have I been to Fort Collins? I'm 3-0 in the traditional boot rivalry game, Wyoming CSU. Oh man, there's some chance that I'd like to do right now that Wyoming would do to CSU, but I've been there. It's a great rivalry, passionate fans, amazing stadium and facilities. You get down there, that thing is incredible, and it will be rocking week 1. I've seen it in just through the rivalry lens when it's always been busy, so it's a great place. They got a great coaching staff. They're in year 2, and I got a lot of respect for Coach Novell and what he's done, and he's doing it the old-fashioned way and building a program. So we got to make sure both teams are new and different. We got to show our improvement just like they'll show their improvement.
I'm sure you already talked about the juice guy today, but I'm curious about some of the logistics behind the shirt and the actual juice boxes. What's the process for getting the shirts made up, and then do you stock up on 1 million boxes of IC ahead of time, or how does all that work?
BV, our chief of staff, he's amazing with all that stuff. So he's got all that, and sometimes I just tell him mid-practice how many I want, and you always have to take the same idea and present it in new and different ways, right? So that's where the T-shirt came out. I was really, to be honest with you, just having a beer with a booster guy one time at a Cougs first event. And he's like, I do T-shirts. And I was like, you know what? I want to make these juice T-shirts. And boom, here comes the idea. So you never know when the inspiration is going to hit you.
How did that idea start to begin with?
Well, I was at a program at Mankato, and we talked a lot about juice and energy, and it was big. And I'm being part of our best, that E is the energy piece. We talk about your energy dial and what you need. Are you an energy giver or an energy catcher? And just wanted to really emphasize and reward guys that are doing it the right way. So it just kind of, just like it did at Mankato, it took on a life of its own. I think it's important. I think it's cool. I was at my son's baseball practice this summer, and they're giving out sauce awards. I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome, but it was good. It's fun. The guys like it. They cheer for it, and it's just something to bring some cheer to practice.